If you stayed up and watched 18 innings of baseball, so people are aware, we are gonna record this because there was a lot of people who wanted to attend the practice, couldn't attend the practice for multiple of reasons. So we are gonna record it. And I just want to let you guys know that just in case something is said, just know other people are gonna be able to hear. No, you could go live, Zach. Zach, you could go. Yep. Okay. Oh, gotcha. All right. So when you're ready, we're ready, Zach. You just let me know when you're ready. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. All right. So welcome to practice number one. We got 3 practices this week before game start actually, middle school game started today. OPS starts next week, and then we'll have about 600 games next weekend. All right, so a lot of the times people ask, when's self-assigned going to open up? Self-assigned is going to open up Friday. We do have 2 of the 3 youth tournaments in our system. So self-assigned will open up on Friday. Our goal is late morning, early afternoon. If you get self-assigned and you want to self-assign, plan on having that on Friday. So the whole first portion of this practice, we did a thing in football. We did a roundtable with new football officials. And one of the questions we asked the new football officials is, now that you worked most of the season, what is it that you wish you learned before the season that we didn't teach you? All right, so this is beyond the court. All right, so this first portion, that handout, I'm hoping that as we go through each of these beyond the court topics, you could write down one thing you learned or one thing you're going to do in each of those areas. All right, because there's a lot more to sports officiating, a lot more to basketball officiating than literally just showing up, doing your job, getting paid, and going home. All right, and a lot of times new officials, years 1 through 5, I wish I knew that. All right, so that's the purpose of this portion. So first one, budget 168. All right, anyone know what 168 represents? Hours in a week. All right, that is how many hours you have in a week. All right, here goes, Zach. And when you become a basketball official, or you like basketball and you want to start advancing in basketball, the number of hours in a week does not change. right? It doesn't change. You have to manage your time. All right. So when it comes to now the start of the season, for basketball, youth, new officials, years 1 through 5, you're going to get paid $30 per hour. It's $30 per game, and they're hour-long games. Okay. And we have been filling 168 hours before the season starts. So like before self-assign opens Friday, you should really start looking at your 168. And you are going to balance, all right, time is money. All right. Of that 168, how much are you going to choose of that 160 to get paid versus not get paid? All right. So hopefully we're going to be talking about sleep here later on, but 56 hours a week should be sleeping. 3 meals a day, 30 minutes a day is eating. Work, school, or if you're on an athletic team, that's another 40 hours. That's your job right now. All right. Then people have religion, people have family. You have to find you time. If you do not find you time for relaxation, you're going to get stressed. You're going to get overworked. And if you officiate as a basketball official stressed, what do you think you're going to do when parents and coaches are yelling at you? Retaliate because you're stressed. So you got to find you time. All right. That's one thing young officials forget to do. And then they get stressed and they don't want to do it because it's no fun. All right. And then friends entertainment. Most of the time, that's where we make our sacrifice. All right. So you have to create a financial budget of what is it are you looking for as a basketball official financially, and how much time are you willing to give up to get that financials? All right. I'm really good at what I do. I hope everybody wants to make $1,200 a week. All right. But if it's only 90, that's cool. But when I look at myself, and I always cut entertainment. All right. I could go golf, which will be $80 for the round. All right. Then I got food, then I got drinks. So I'm spending about $120 golfing. That's a 5-hour time slot. Or I could go officiate basketball. So I save 120. I go make 150. Now it's a $270 swing. That's literally how I envision it when I was a new official. All right. So new officials, like, you should start balancing time equals money. And then when we get to officiating as a career, I'll ask officials out there, if you're really looking to make $1,000 a week, we will help you. We might not be able to get you $1,000 just in our group, but we will help you navigate that, so you can make that your budget if that's what you want to do. Physical fitness. All right. If you think you're going to get out there and work 8 games, feel good the next day, it's not going to happen. All right. So if you have not already started walking, jogging, jumping jacks, I would definitely start tomorrow. All right. Or start with 2 games. The next day, start with another 2 games. All right. The next week, 3 games. Work yourself up, because it happens every single year. High school season starts. They get out there, they try to sprint, and the first time they sprint, pop, there goes the calf. All right, because they have not gotten in shape. All right, so you have to do some type of cardiovascular, and don't work on it when you're working your first high school game, high school officials. All right, muscular, how to avoid injury, build the muscles around your joints. All right, and you don't have to go to a gym. You don't have to pay a gym membership. All right. So, Gwen, this is one of the things that you touched on. What is it that you do when it comes to the muscular strength? And you might have to come up here, Gwen. Dang it.
What I started last season, or even before last season, was 20 push-ups a day. And it's always my kind of like trigger to do that was pre-game. I work a lot of basketball, so I'm working most days of the week. So I thought, okay, 20 push-ups pre-game. And I've slowly kind of worked that up. But on days that I don't have games, I'll usually way through, maybe knock out some push-ups, some tricep dips, do some abs at home. So all things that I don't really need a gym for. I can just kind of work them in when I have 10, 15, 20 minutes to get some muscular or body weight exercises.
Keep pressing the button, it turns green. I don't know what that means. But so another. Next one, physical fitness flexibility. Yoga, stretching before the game. Right? At minimum, you should be like stretching your calves, stretching your hamstrings, stretching your quads, stretching your lower back. Veteran officials, what body parts hurt you the most throughout the basketball season? All of them? All right. All right. You have to stretch to make it through the basketball season. All right. So just because you're young, just because you're young does not, you have to do this physical fitness. And then body composition is really the mass of your body, and this comes down to nutrition. All right, so I'm not going to tell you how to eat, what to eat. That's not the purpose of this. But this is a reminder for veteran officials. This is a heads up for young officials. Water. They are not required to give you water. Most sites offer water. Please take it. All right? Because if you say no, they're less likely to ask the next official if they want water. Okay, so young officials, if you're working an 8-game set, bring your own water. Bring your own food. I'm not sure if you guys know, but the concession stand food, would you consider that like really, really healthy and really, really high energy? No. All right. Again, if they offer it, you like it? Yes. But bring the food that gives your body energy. Right? Bring the food that gives your body energy, and don't expect or assume they're going to provide it for you. All right. Again, when you're working long shifts or you're driving and you have 3 games, you have to plan food. Right? Anything else? The other thing, new officials, veteran officials. You start now self-assigning certain sites, certain tournaments based on the accommodations those tournaments and schools provide you. Does anyone pick up certain youth tournaments just because how you're treated as an official? All right, so David Landon is a yes. All right, so young officials, newer officials, when you start working and going to sites, start taking, keeping track of that. So when you have self-assigned the next year, what sites do you want to go back to? But again, don't rely on them providing food and drink. All right, injury prevention. If you don't work, you can't get paid. And we'll get into sort of our legal rights here in a little bit. But you don't get paid time off as a sports official, as a basketball official. All right, so you have to do injury prevention. First and foremost, proper shoes. Right? So a basketball player's shoes is not made for constant running. It's made for ankle support. All right? Because you're not constantly running as a basketball player. You sub in and you sub out. Basketball official, we constantly run. We constantly stand. Right? Our shoes are made as running shoes. All right, so if you need a new pair of shoes, you want to look for a running shoe, not a basketball playing shoe, a running shoe. And then the average shoe will last you 300 miles. An average game, you run or walk 2 to 4 miles. So now you got to start doing the math. All right, so the officials that worked 100 games last year, if you're wearing the same shoes, they're probably worn out. You probably got to get a new pair of shoes. Okay, so proper shoes are going to help you prevent injury. The next is sleep and recovery. Sometimes I take a look at self-assign, I take a look at the full schedule, and somebody signed up 6, 7, 8, 9 on Friday, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on Saturday, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on Sunday. Like, damn, where does this person sleep? Right? Your body needs time to recover. I'm not saying you can't do that, but I'm just warning you, it's hard to sustain and be a good official and healthy official. Eventually the body's going to break down. So when you are making your schedule, try to find that slot where you can make 8 hours sleep for recovery purposes. And then I don't know what is a good bed, what is a bad bed, but I tell you what, one salesman did this when I was purchasing a bed, and they said, you spend 1/3 of your life in your bed, you better spend good money on it. You know what? I agree, right? Because it's part of recovery and prevention. And the last, again, repeat, stretch, 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 stretch. Find a stretching routine so you are not sore. Anyone know actually what the best time to stretch is? After the game, right? After the game, all right, is the best, actually really good time to stretch. All right, legal rights. All right, so you as a sports official, all right, you have legal rights. So these are some things that have been taken to court. And again, not to scare anybody, but to prevent anything bad happening when you're a new official. As an independent contractor, taxes, you are responsible for reporting them. I will tell you, there's not going to be an IRS agent that comes knocking on your door and says, last year you made $1,200 officiating youth basketball. That's not what we're talking about. But young officials, I get these calls all the time. Hey, Sean, I'm trying to buy a car. I'm trying to rent an apartment. I'm trying to buy a house. And the bank won't give me a loan because there's no proof of me earning money because you did not file it in taxes. But young officials, it's actually good to report income. So now over the years, now you're asking for a loan. You have proof over the years that you are earning money. Now I have had calls where a bank was like, all right, so you made $5,000 last year officiating. How are you going to be guaranteed $5,000 this year? And then I tell the bank, sir, ma'am, they can make $12,000 in the basketball season if they really wanted to. All right. And I sort of explained that. So just understand that you want to show income. And again, as an independent contractor, you have so many expenses. Veteran officials, what are some expenses you sign off on taxes? Mileage. What's that?
Drive to the game.
Yeah. So mileage driving to the game. Clothing.
Finish.
All right. Equipment. What's that? Meals. How about technology? All right. Internet, cell phone, computer. If you have an office space at home because you have that computer at home where you watch film, you study rules. All right. And I'm not on camera. Watch film and study rules. All right. That is office space now. All right, so those are the items you want to talk to your whoever does prepare your taxes. This is time you're not getting paid for. This is continuing education. All right. So you could get per diem is another thing you could give in sports officiating as an expense.
Mostly what I care about is for taxes, because I care about that. Somebody's got to mail me a 1099, right?
Sometimes, yep.
And then I have to report it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I care about is 1099.
Yep. Contracts. Okay. You have the right to accept or decline contracts. All right, so that's the whole really point of arbiter sports. Right? You self-assign, you accepted that contract. You put in your availability, and Coach Kraus, Coach Porter give you games. You accept the game, you accepted that contract. Right? You have the right to also decline that contract. Right? You really have the right to turn back that contract. So this is what we talked about, the horse trading. So just a little heads up here, the business side of it. If there's a situation, it's like, man, I could turn back these 5 games 10 miles away, and I could work 6 games 1 mile away for another assigner. Let's just say Dick Morrison, right? And we'll be like, do you really have to? I'll call Dick Morrissey, see if he needs help filling it. But if that doesn't happen, you just do it, you're probably not going to get more games from our coaching staff. So yeah, you got 1 more game today, but now later on in the future, you might lose 30, 40 games just because we're not going to assign you. All right, so understand that too. You have the right to accept and decline the games. And then also the coaches have the right to keep on giving you games or not. All right, so the best way to do it is honor your contracts. If something comes up, have the communication with your coach. It's no different than as you have any other basketball coach. Hey, coach, I can't make practice. This is going on. I got to finish class. Sweet. Hey, coach, I can't make this game. We had something happen in the family. The coach is probably going to understand that. So if something truly comes up, talk to a coach and we'll work through it. But if we don't get that communication, if we get a bunch of declines, that's just communication. Right? You're not looking to work. Right? So understand the contracts part of it. Association expectations, that's part of our video. I'm not going to go over that, but our expectations, communication, education, develop. The ones that do that rise to the top much quicker than everybody else. That's anywhere. All right. Freedom of speech. All right. So, you know, there's rules to protect your rights of freedom of speech as a basketball official. You make a call. Woo! Coach yells at your freedom of speech. What do you have to protect your rights of freedom of speech? Technical foul. All right. So you'll hear me say this throughout the preseason. Whack them and stack them. All right. Whack them. Get paid for that game. Keep on stacking the dollar bills. All right. So your speech is your judgment. All right. And there are rules there to protect you from being yelled at, to being abused. You have to use those rules to protect your freedom of speech. They're not violent. You're not protesting. You are keeping the peace when you are giving your freedom of speech. All right, so as we do more education with rules this week and on our training tapes, do not be afraid to give a technical foul if somebody is trying to impede your freedom of speech. Okay? Discrimination laws. So these I call personal attacks. All right. I'm going to try to find some rather mellow personal attacks. Women shouldn't be officiating basketball. Woo! You're too old to officiate basketball. Woo! You're too young to officiate basketball. Woo! This is a Catholic church. Get out of here. Woo! All right. They can't use those type of personal attacks on discrimination. You're too fat. Woo! Okay, whack them and stack them. Okay, those are discriminatory sayings. They are directed towards you as a person. Please give them a technical foul. They cannot say that. And this goes back to our team meeting. What we allow, the coaches are going to continue to do. What we allow, the players are going to continue to do. What we allow, the fans are going to continue to do. So we have to use our rights within the rules to let them know they can't do that. Okay? And then insurance. God forbid something does happen. You slip and fall because of unsafe playing surface. You run into a fan. That fan gets injured. Now, everyone's too happy and they try to sue you. If you have insurance, you're going to be protected. So hopefully everyone either is under performance insurance, work insurance, private insurance. NASO is additional sports officials insurance. NASO is what I recommend to sports officials, all sports, all levels, all 50 states. So if you are registered NSAA, you have NSAA, NFHS insurance, recommend the NASO. Those are some protections you have and some ways to protect your rights.
Sean, we've got a question.
Oh, is NASO, is that one time, all year, all sports?
Yes, one time, all year, all sports.
Okay.
So it's a yearly membership. There's a lot more benefits besides insurance. Referee magazine, travel benefits, there's a lot more. Mainly the insurance protection. All right, so now our legal responsibilities, okay? What, if we don't do our basic jobs, we can be held liable. Understanding the importance of this position as a sports official. Playing court safety, moisture, fans locations, cheers location, open doors, balls on the ground. So I will never walk into the gym with my officiating shoes from outside. My officiating shoes are in my bag. I make sure my officiating shoes, bottom, are clean. I'm not bringing in snow, I'm not bringing in salt, I'm not bringing in dirt. But fans do, players do. So if it gets really bad, you're slipping, the players are slipping, stop the game, bring out some type of, not you, but have somebody bring out something to clean the floor so we're not slipping and sliding on that type of material. Happens a lot more in youth than high school. Practicing everything from the outside. When we talk about basketballs on the ground, see them on the ground, have the coaches pick them up and put them behind the bench. You can't have people flipping and sliding and stepping on basketballs. When we talk about open doors, if a door is open, that player is more than likely going to hit the side of the door, cut the head open and bleed. We don't want to have open doors near the basketball court. I always think of St. Roberts. Those of you who worked at St. Roberts, the officials have that room on the basketball court. When you come out of that room, close that door. That door will stop them from getting injured. All right, so you have to be aware of your surroundings on the playing court safety. Player safety. Cannot allow rough play. They have 5 common fouls. There are incidental contact plays. There are hand checks, and we'll get into that definitions. But if it's rough play, elbow, pushing, holding, shoving, they get 5 to correct the behavior. All right, they're very, very rare court cases. But if somebody feels like we ignored rough play, they show video that we should have called 15 fouls on a player, and on the 15th foul, somebody got concussed. They could hold us liable of they shouldn't even been in the game. They should have fouled out in the first quarter. That's rough play. We're not talking about rough play, okay? Second one, 2 technical fouls, inciting fights. All right, so if a player has earned a technical foul, a coach has earned a technical foul, the first one's a warning, the second one is an ejection. If we don't use that and they keep making a rowdy atmosphere, egregiously, we could be held liable. Again, egregious. So whack them and stack them, okay? And then flagrant foul. All right, so typically a flagrant foul is an elbow to the throat, elbow to the head. Throw down, I've seen a football tackle before, right? That's flagrant. You have to eject the first time. If we don't eject the first time, they do it again and injure somebody. Now somebody could say, well, if you did your job the first time, the second one would not have happened. All right, so be aware, those flagrant, eject them on the first time. Jewelry, no earrings, all right? No wristbands, all right? It is actually in there more for them to protect themselves. What you will hear all the time. My son or daughter just got their ears pierced yesterday. If they take out the stud, the hole's going to close up. Perfect. Awesome. I'm not asking you to take the stud out. You just can't play basketball with the earring in. Okay. Again, I know, and it's all about how you communicate this to the coach. You don't want to be jerks about it. You just have to say, no jewelry. It's here to protect you, here to protect the opponents, and I can't take liability. Nope, no tape over their ears. Okay. So player safety is big. And then we talk about gym safety, unsporting fans. We do not kick fans out. We're going to go with this in conflict management a lot more. We don't kick fans out. We stop the game, cite gym administrator, athletic director, head coach if nobody is there. They are to remove the fan, and you just tell whoever's in charge, we can't play this game until that fan is removed. And then everyone says, let the kids play. Right? And then you go to the site administrator, I want the kids to play. The kids get to play when that fan is removed. Okay? I'm telling you, if we do that early in the season, yes. Game is over. Whack them and stack them. You got paid. All right, game is over, forfeit. And we'll go, and when we go, we'll like I said, that's going to be an example in conflict management. No. So they're at risk of forfeiting the game if they don't take care of their fans. But it's not a technical on the coach. Yep. It's just, hey, coach, these are your fans. That one has to be removed. We're not playing until they're removed. If they refuse to do that as a head coach, game's forfeit. They lose. So.
Do I wait 15 minutes before I walk out?
Your best judgment. You got to use your best judgment.
If nothing's going to happen in 5 minutes, we just walk off the court and say bye.
Yep. You got to use your best judgment. I'm not going to say 5 minutes. I'm not going to say 10 minutes. You have to, every situation is different. And you're the one living it. So you got to stay, when we talk about firm but calm. Okay, just be matter of fact. Yes. All right, so I always, if the players on the court start reacting to the fans, that's my trigger. All right, so if a player says, shut up, who'd you say that to? The fan. Okay, that fan's causing problems. I've had coaches yell at fans, fans yell at coaches. That's affecting the game. Any fan behavior that affects a player or coach, I am going to stop the game, warn, and then ask them to remove the fan if they don't stop the behavior. It's up to you. All right. I mean, when we talk about thick skin, we are not taking abuse. We have to handle it professionally. So if you think they're discriminating against you, making personal comments to you, stop the game, talk to the site administrator, athletic director. This fan needs to be removed. This fan can move up to somewhere else in the gym. This fan could watch the game from the window outside the gym. Give them some options. Yep. We are going to, with the conflict management here, we will. All right, so this goes now into conflict management. Unfortunately, every gym you walk into, you have to be ready because there's conflict every single time. Anyone have a brother or sister? Every day, is there not conflict between you and your brother and sister? Okay, so whatever you're competing for, mom and dad's attention, mom and dad's money, mom and dad's food, whatever it is, you are competing, so you have to be able to manage it. So it could be something was said on Facebook, something was said on Instagram. These teams played 3 times last year. You don't know that information. And I'm telling you, every time you walk into a gym, there is some type of conflict. These coaches, when they played in high school, they hated each other. Oh, Jesus, you're coaching youth basketball. But that happens. Okay, so you have to expect it. That's the first thing I say. Expect it. Second thing is recognize it. If a player or coach gives you frustration cues, this is my favorite story ever. And this is a college basketball story, but I knew a head coach was going to get a technical foul once he took off his tie. Once he took off his tie, 2 more trips up and down the court, it's a technical foul every single time. Okay, I recognized it. So what I had done when I had the coach, I went up to him and I said, I got to ask a favor from you today. He goes, what's that? I need you to have your tie on the whole entire game because my crew and I, we have a bet of how long your tie will stay on. And I have you on for the whole game and I want to win this bet. He goes, all right, that's weird. Kept it on all game long. Guess what? No technical fouls. It's amazing just when you learn people's cues. And in youth basketball, guess what? You're going to see these teams. You're going to see these coaches. You're going to see these players year in and year out, beginning of the season, middle of the season, at the end of the season. Recognize the cues. All right, if you recognize it, you could then now de-escalate it. All right, so some other examples: body language, stomping the feet. All right, turning your back to the officials. When coaches yell at players, if the players don't respond to that, guess who the coaches yell at next? The officials. All right, they're going to try to pump up their players first. That didn't work. Now I'm going to yell at the officials to pump up my players. All right, so you got to be able to recognize that. When you recognize it, de-escalate. Communicate with the player. Hey, what's going on? I see you're frustrated. Sometimes, like, number 13 keeps on saying stuff to me when you're not paying attention. Sweet, I'm going to talk to number 13. All right, and I'll go up to number 13. I'm not going to even talk to him about him talking to the other player, but that other player thinks I'm talking to number 13 about it. All right, so it's little things like that that can now, if small communications. Coach, I'm having problems with 55. They're getting kind of physical. Can you talk to them for me? Hey, coach, I think number 55 is going to do something bad here. Do you want to sub them out? You can't force a sub, but you could recommend a sub. And most time, coaches would like, yes, thank you, I'll get them out. Okay, you de-escalate it. You got them on the bench to relax a little bit. Henry. I know we're going to talk about flopping tomorrow. I consider that in the flopping. Me personally, I'm going to tell you, I don't care. I actually reply back, say, and none. Whatever. It's not personal attack on me. It's, I don't know. I try to make fun with it. I don't even consider it flopping. They're just bringing attention, and I don't know. That's my thing. I guess it's up to you how you want to manage the game. Yes. This is, remember when you say expect it? That last thing says sometimes between officials as well. All right, communication. All right, we as officials have different personalities. We as officials have different styles of officiating. We as officials might have different opinions and judgments. You have to talk it out. You are in a relationship with an official, 1 game, 2 game, 3 game. And what happens if you and that official start arguing or going sideways with each other? We're a team. All right. So just no difference than if a captain starts cussing out all their players. You think all the players are going to play for that captain anymore? No, absolutely not. So we as officials say, hey, what's going on? What is it that you see I'm not seeing? All right. Try to get on the same page. Okay. Let's see here. De-escalate. If you see something, say something. All right. If you see something, say something. Sometimes it's just a warning to the players. Sometimes it's give the coach a heads up. Sometimes you have to find the site administrator. hey, this fan is getting rowdy. You might want to go sit next to them. That usually de-escalates. Just having the gym administrator go sit next to that fan. Okay, that will de-escalate. Now, if that de-escalation doesn't work, they're still there. They're still frustrated. They're still going to do unsporting stuff. Now we prevent. Ask questions. Hey, why are you frustrated? What did you see on that play? Coach, if that's what you saw, that was your angle, you might be right. From my angle, this is what I saw. I could have missed it. Okay? So you ask questions of that frustration. Warnings, bench decorum warning. How many people gave bench decorum warnings last year and put it in the book? Did it work? Absolutely. That's literally a bench decorum warning is they're outside the coach's box and they're not coaching. We'll just leave it at that. They're outside the coach's box and they're not coaching. Boop, 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 boop. Bench decorum warning, white. Hey, coach, we need you guys to stay in the box. You walk away. You don't say, boop, boop, that's your warning. I have seen officials do that. It is a team bench decorum warning. Okay. Yes, sir. Yep. So the question was, a fan was constantly talking to the players, and the coach wanted the fan to stop talking to the players. So it was opposing. So coach, fan, and the fan was coaching. When they were coaching, were they doing any unsporting behavior whatsoever? Completely legal. We could only handle unsporting behavior. And you just go up to that coach, hey, coach, they are giving tips. They are coaching. They're directing. But a fan could do that. Yep, they can, as long as it's not unsporting. And coaching, hopefully, their own players and not their opposing players. Now that's a different story. Yep. The last prevention is stop the game. And what we mean by stop the game, again, if you have to stop the game because of the fan, but there are times we stop the game, get the teams to the benches, and we as officials talk. Okay? And all we're doing is we are letting everybody breathe. All right. A lot of times after a technical foul, everybody gets to their bench. Let's talk together as a crew. Have the coaches relax their players. All right. We communicated the technical foul, bring the players out from the bench area after the technical foul. We've allowed them to breathe. We allowed the coaches to settle down their players. All right. So again, another prevention tip. And then resolve. I have asked coaches, hey, coach, if you leave this player in, they're probably going to foul out really quick. You can't tell me how to sub. No, I can't. Boop. 33, push. Boop. 33, hand check. Coach, he's got 4. All right. So again, that's how you resolve if coaches don't help you. Okay. 2 technical fouls, as we talked about. Administrator removes fan or fans, and then 1 flagrant foul, and then the absolute last resort is you forfeit the game. If it is so unsafe, you feel for your safety, you feel for player safety, or you think there's going to be a fight between fans, just end the game. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I would rather get yelled at for 5 minutes when I walk outside that gym to a safe place in that gym than to be in the gym when 30 adults start fighting each other. Okay? So just end it. Get yelled at for 3 minutes as you're walking out of the gym, move on with your life. All right? Now, report. All right, so Scott says, when we talk, or it was Eric. Yes. Who's they? The administrators? So I say player safety. So the question was, if people come up to you, why did you end the game? Player safety. It was an unsafe playing environment. Player safety. We will always protect the players. And by the way, once you forfeit it, once you end it, it's not, hey, come back, all the fans are gone. No, too late. Too late. Move on. So now reporting it. So there are tournaments. They have 8 courts going on. There are some tournaments have zero tolerance policy. Right? There's leagues, CYO and PAL League. If a player gets ejected, it's a 1-game suspension. If a coach gets ejected, it's a 1-game suspension. If a fan gets removed from a gym, it goes to their board of directors that changes based on their parish. There is consequences. However, what must happen for those consequences to be enforced? They have to be reported. All right, so if you never report it, I can then not contact the tournament. I can then not contact the parish. I then cannot contact the organization to put out the suspension. Okay, so after you have, and by the way, 5 common fouls, I'm not worried about that. Any ejection, 2 technical fouls, flagrant. You remove a fan from an event or game. You need to call or text the PSOA coach. And then we will always ask you also email us, because we need your side of the story when that parent, when that coach, when that player gives us their side of the story. All right, and be factual, nothing but the facts. Don't say, well, it all started when the coach walked in and he gave me a smirk. I don't care. Nobody cares about that. Scott. So so the question is, you're working 5 games in a row. So-and-so got ejected 2 technical fouls. I can't get a hold of a PSOA coach. They're not going to answer their emails. They're probably working too. Yes, find that local, whoever's in charge of that gym, and say this player was given 2 technical fouls and was ejected. Again, let the tournament director now suspend or not. We will not suspend. Every tournament has different expectations. Yes, same thing with the parent. All right, we as officials need to report it. Then other people have to put in the suspensions, put in the consequences. No different than NSAA basketball. You give a player 2 technical fouls, they're ejected. Are you going to their next game to make sure they didn't play? No. You're reporting it to NSAA John Dolliver. John Dolliver is going to pass it on to the athletic director. The athletic director has to make sure their player doesn't play. And if they do play, now we have a consequence for the head coach. All right. You as the official are not going to serve out the consequence. You're reporting the behavior. Okay, so officials, report the behavior. Believe it or not, the organizations, when they get the information, they are usually harsher on the penalty when it's reported. All right, so please, please, please report the unsporting behavior. Report the flagrant fouls, report the ejections. If you remove a fan, let us know. Yes, Kelly. Riley, sorry. Nope. So great question. The question is, 2 technical fouls player, they actually have to remain at the facility because you can't kick them out of the gym because of supervision. They're minors. You can't just go. Adult, 2 technical fouls, sight and sound. They have to leave gym sight. They have to leave gym sound. They are adults. They do not need supervision. So player, they can remain on the bench. Adult coach, sight and sound, they have to leave. Great question there. Okay, so conflict management, I could probably spend 5 hours on this. Expect it, recognize it, de-escalate, prevent, resolve within the rules, and then if it's an ejection resolution, make sure you communicate with us so then we could then have the different organizations and teams hand out the consequence. Communication skills. If we do this first one as officials, if we do this first one as humans, we typically stay out of arguments. All right, so I always say it takes two to argue. Don't be one of them. Okay, if you only listen, you take in information, you process information, you learn from that information, you are not going to get in an argument. All right, veteran officials, how many times is coach upset? You go stand shoulder to shoulder with them, and it's like, Coach, go ahead, tell me what you saw. Whew, here we go. I went the other way because the play went the other way. I listened to that coach, though. Now, if I walk away from that coach, I don't give him or her my ear. I ignore that coach. Now that's going to piss off the coach. Okay? Just listen. You don't even have to say anything. Listen. Okay? And then the last thing I put in here, you have to be aware what is going on with the crowd, with the fans. Sometimes, I put this in highlight, sometimes they are right. When I say sometimes, if I'm working 10 games in a week, and 8 out of the 10 games, I hear the comment in the stands, let the kids play, let the kids play, let the kids play. I, as an official, am probably calling too many fouls. I have to listen to that. Okay? That's a common thing I'm getting back from fans. Now, if I hear opposite, work 10 games and 8 of the 10 games, somebody's going to get hurt out there. Somebody's going to get hurt out there. Again, that's 80% of your games. What's the common denominator? Listen, adjust. All right? Yeah, now that's, again, that's listening and managing. So good job for trying the other spectrum. All right. But again, don't rely on fans. I'm not asking you to rely on fans, but listen just to intake the information. A lot of times it's entertainment for me. They make me laugh. Nonverbal, facial expressions, odor, stance, hustle, signals, cleanliness, eye contact, technology. What do you guys think what I mean by technology? On your phone. Don't have a watch on. So A.J. Johnson said this in the captain's meeting. If you are tracking your steps, put it in your pocket, put it on your ankle. Okay? Put it in your pocket, put it on your ankle. Cell phones. I hope it's never, ever in your hands when you're officiating. I hope you are never taking a call while you're officiating. All right? Because I tell you what, if I was a coach and I saw you on your cell phone officiating, you're going to get it from me too. All right? Yeah, Randy's like, what? Yeah, true story, Randy. I got videos. Yes. All right? That's what we mean by technology. And then verbal. We're going to get into definitions. Use rulebook terminology. If you talk the game, the coaches, players, and fans are going to give you credibility. They're going to leave you alone. They're going to trust you if you use terminology correctly. If you as an official go over the back foul, you've lost all credibility. If you go reach, you've lost all credibility. That's when players, coaches, fans get frustrated. I'm paying $30 and these officials don't even know the rules, the basic rules. Right? I'm not saying it's right, but that's what really gets them upset. So if you choose your words, verbal words, if you choose it, use the correct words. Okay? And that's what we're going to go over after the break here. Be really quick here on officiating as a career. All right. So the story that from the round table, I think is very important, is I went my first 5 years of officiating football. 5 years of officiating football. And I finally asked the question, hey, how do I move up? Well, you got to talk to this person, this person, this person. I'm like, what? I've been officiating with those officials for 5 years. I find out they're Division I football officials. I'm like, I've been working with Division I football officials for 5 years, and not one time did I ask them how I could get better. Shame on me. I lost 5 years of development. Okay? So I say this to new officials. If you want to make this as a career, you can. It's not easy. Let us know. All right? There's so many resources here in Omaha, no matter what sport it is. It's ridiculous how rich we are in sports officiating here in Omaha. Got 2 NFL officials. I think we got 16 Division I college baseball umpires. We have how many Division I basketball officials, men's and women's, probably another 30. It's ridiculous. We have a FIFA certified soccer international on their way to get to potentially World Cup assignments. Let us know. We will help you. We will help you. All right. But if we don't know, we don't know. Okay. So as a young official, just understand there is opportunities there besides the youth. Let us know and we could help you get there. So this is where we're going to have a break. Okay. So it's 6:55. We're going to have about a 5-minute break. So if you have to go to the restroom, you got to check cell phone. This is time to use technology. Bryce Kirkman is going to do sign in. So that way people get credits. So Bryce, where do you want them to go to sign their name? Okay. If you are a brand new official looking to complete on-court training, you could come down to me and let me know what date and time, because as self-assign opens up, I see a veteran official on a court, I'm going to put you on that court with them. Okay, so new officials, you could do that. And then Gwen has equipment and uniform. If you want to get equipment and uniform, you could talk to Gwen right now. 5-minute break starts right now. Tareen Hunt, are you here? Tareen Hunt? I wonder if I think he was the one that just left.
I'm assuming that's 6 p.m. and 10 p.m.
On Friday? Yes, PM. What's that? Yes, I do.
Can I try to sign up for the Sunday one?
Yeah. Not try, you will. All right, Latika, Sunday.
It was hard getting back from Salt Lake last time.
What time Sunday? Morning or evening or afternoon, I should say?
Afternoon, as late as possible. Would be fine.
I'm going to go last 2 games Sunday. All right.
I'll take Saturday early.
All right, and first and last name?
Caden, C-A-D-N.
Kaverzaki?
Kaverzak.
Kaverzaki. And then Saturday,
Yep.
what time?
Early, whichever, whatever.
8, 9. I'm going to go 8, 9, 10, because some gyms will start at 8, some will
it.
start at 9.
And then should I just, I already paid for the uniform to scrap?
Did I order uniform?
Yes.
Then it's going to be delivered to you.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And the undershirt too?
No, what size undershirt do you need?
Medium.
All right, medium undershirt. Yep, I'm glad you said that. And then did you get a whistle the first meeting?
Yep.
Perfect, excellent.
And then tomorrow, is there training tomorrow in those meetings?
For
And-
varsity, we're gonna go over 3-person.
And then Thursday is 2-person?
Yep, so I would recommend Thursday for
Got it.
you.
Got it, thank you.
Can I get time for Sunday?
Yeah, all right, Loof.
Yep.
What time Sunday?
Probably noonish.
Okay, I'm gonna put 12, it's not gonna be 3 hours,
Okay.
but I'm gonna put 12, 1, 2, would that time window work?
Yeah.
Whether it's 12, 1 or 1 or 2?
Yep. That's all
Perfect.
good. And then tomorrow's varsity stuff.
Yep.
Do I Do I need to be here? for
Don't
that?
be here for the varsity. If you can make Thursday
Yep.
two-person will definitely be a good
All right,
practice.
sounds good. Thank you.
Casey,
You know
what's up?
Who does signs at UBT?
Brent
is-
Robinson.
Brent Robinson. Do you have his number by chance?
I do.
Because my mom's always like, go to UBT 'cause it's like right next to my house.
Yep.
Go to- Wait, shoot, that's his. Go to- 285. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Can I do encore training?
Yes. What day?
This Sunday will work if you have anything.
And then did you want morning, afternoon, late afternoon?
Probably more in the morning.
Okay. So would 8, 9, or 9, 10 work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of them.
And then the full name again?
Winter board.
Winter,
like the
winter,
season,
yeah.
And then
B-
B-O-E-R.
yeah.
And
Perfect.
for the pants, is that waist size?
Yes.
Could I get a 31?
Yeah.
32?
Mm-hmm. 31-inch pant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Saturday, probably afternoon,
And then, so like afternoon, like 12, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4.
like 2, 3.
Okay, so then I'm gonna put 2, 3, 4. It will not be all 4 hours. There'll be 2 of those, like 3, 4, or 2, 3. Okay, and then the full name again?
Joshua Pandolfo.
Josh Pandolfo. Sweet. Perfect.
Well, Saturday, anytime of that.
Mike, last name?
Ira Cooper, sorry.
Oh, Ira. And then anytime Saturday afternoon? After 12. And it'll be a 2-hour time slot. Okay?
Probably the Sunday, the night.
Okay, what time frame?
3 p.m. probably.
Okay, 3, 4. It will not be all 3 hours, but it'll be 3 or 4 or 4 or 5.
3 to 4.
3 to 4, okay. And then the full name again?
Isaiah, ISAIAH,
Okay,
and then Lee.
perfect.
And then I also have a question.
Yes.
I may be on my own high school basketball team,
Yep.
and I was wondering, since I'm not sure if I'm going to know my schedule right away or if it's going to be like every week we
Mhm.
figure it out, what would I do about that, like with officiating as well?
So my recommendation to you is we send out weekly emails of, hey, here's what is open on Monday. Another one Thursday, this is our final openings on the weekend. Reply to those emails. So don't self-assign, obviously, until you know your high school schedule. But then only contact us when you definitely know you will not have practice.
All right.
All right, thank
I have a
you.
quick question.
Yeah.
You do the Metro assignment for middle school, right?
Yes, OPS, yep,
Okay.
yep.
Javen Shelton.
Javen.
Sunday, 1 o'clock.
So 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock game? Okay, because there'll be 2 games. Okay, 1, 2 Sunday, perfect. Zach?
Yeah.
You're good.
Oh,
Yeah, because you did the,
Okay.
you're good.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, so self-assign will be open for you Friday.
Okay. Awesome.
We're gonna make this out, Jay.
PSOA.
Perfect. And then
Yes, I can. They'll be able to email me when I send out the email after practices. Go for it.
all right, we can do Saturday morning.
Braden Miller. Saturday, like 8, 9, 10 window?
Sure,
Perfect.
that works for you guys.
Yes, it will.
Can I do it, Jay?
Yes. Miller, Scott, and then what I'll probably do is I'll probably have you guys at Miller North
Yeah.
with different courts.
That's great.
So Saturday, 8, 9, 10. Perfect.
Perfect.
All right, man.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
This is gonna be good.
You're out. This is my first time doing something like this.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
Is this for the sign up for the new official?
Yes. So for encore training, okay, so what's your name?
Rashawn, RASHAWN.
Okay. AWN, okay. And last name?
McNeil Lee, MCNE.
N.
Yeah, N A L dash L E E.
And then so the audio should have stopped right there, just because that guy was giving information. But anybody who didn't hear Sean, you can email him, reply back to his email that comes out after this with any on-court training you want, any equipment you need or anything like that. You can reach out to Sean. He'll reply back to his email after. Boy,
Yeah. Cause I
Scott
think he put that he wanted to work with me.
Ramakant.
And I was like, 'cause
And also, we're taking, we want to put credit down for people who showed up for these trainings. If you could put your name in the chat so we can get you down on Bryce's sheet as well.
Bellevue.
Yep. No, yeah. Yep. I always go off your address and get you the. Reed, you did just hear me. I'm on the microphone. Shane, I got you. Tom, I got you. Reed, I got you. Anybody else who didn't hear me, please put your name in the chat so we can put it down on Bryce's attendance sheet. There's a few people on here. And if you're listening to this after the fact, go ahead and comment in the comment section so we'll put you down as watched as well. This I created, I shouldn't say we created this next segment. This is all Rule 4. All Rule 4. Okay, and when I say all Rule 4, we did not choose every definition. We chose the definitions that we felt coaches, fans, and players show their disagreement to us as officials. So when we talk about communication and using verbal, I will say this right now, and when I say as a coach, as a PSOA coach, and when I used to be a high school basketball coach, I didn't care anything about judgments because I knew as a coach, back in the day, we only had 6 feet. Right? I had 6-foot coach's box that I was restricted to. In Iowa, I had to sit down the whole game. Okay. And officials were able to move up and down, read steps, and actually have the best look at the call. So when it comes to judgment as a coach, I don't know if you got the call right or wrong. However, if I ask, what did my player do wrong? What could we do differently? What did you see? Hopefully you're giving the coach definitions. You're giving them trust that you put in practice to do this officiating gig. Okay. So first one, I will tell a coach they did not have legal guarding position. What? They didn't have legal guarding position, coach? Do you think they know what legal guarding position is? No. But you use the words. They did not have legal guarding position. You're not going to read the white to them. You're just going to read the blue. Legal guarding. Okay, so what is legal guarding? Placing body in front of an opponent. So I have the picture, 2 pictures here. All right, so this number 3 is legal guarding position. Number 21 by the cheerleader legal guarding position. They are on the playing court. They are facing the opponent that they are going against. All right, so we have the other picture. You have the player with the basket or guarding the basketball, legal guarding position. Only one other player on defense there has legal guarding position. The other three are not legally guarding because they're not facing the opponent with the ball. But they do have legal guarding on the player they're guarding. So legal guarding position is they are on the floor, they are facing the opponent, all right, on the playing court. Once they obtain it, that's how you obtain it, 2 feet facing. Now, after they do that, they can do a lot of things. Defender can move vertically. We're going to go over verticality here soon. A player can move laterally. All right, you think defensive coaches, they do those lane slides for no reason whatsoever? No, they do it because it's legal. That's what we want players to do. We want them moving laterally. Obliquely, this is obliquely. They could duck, absorb. They could take on the contact. And the only thing they can't do, they cannot move forward. All right. So from a basketball official standpoint, you have body-on-body contact. You have to determine, do they have legal guarding position? Did the defense move forward? Because pretty much all the other movements are legal. Okay. So that is a lot of times what I tell coaches. Why was it blocking? They didn't have legal guarding position. They moved forward and created contact. We're gonna get into block charge here in a little bit. All right. So we're just starting legal guarding. Okay. Legal guarding. Huge definition to know. Next one. Once I have legal guarding position, if I'm within 6 feet, feet to feet, 5-second count starts. How many times have coaches yelled, 5 seconds? And we don't even have a count going. Okay. So what the heck is 6 feet? Top of the arc to the free throw lane is 6 feet. That's actually pretty big space, isn't it? Top of the arc to the free throw shooting line. All right. That's 6 feet. So defender's foot is within that. We are now counting 5 seconds. All right. Once they hold the ball, 5. Dribble the ball, 5. Hold the ball again, 5. Notice how I switched arms. Right hand, left hand, right hand. Okay. When they're holding the basketball, this is not a true mechanic, but when they are holding the basketball, I typically am going to use my arm closest to the ball handler because now they could see the count. When they're dribbling, I use the one farthest away because I don't want them dribbling at me and then hitting my arm. Okay, so little tidbit, not a true mechanic, but a tip. But we need a 5-second count. All right, so again, earn the trust with the coaches. We're doing 5-second counts. Block charge. Okay, so now boom, we got a 5-second count. The dribbler now goes forward into a laterally moving defender. I think this is the easiest call in basketball to make. Okay? I think it's the easiest call in basketball to make. This is weird. Cool. All right. Hey, Zach, could you turn whatever is on your end down? Okay. I'm going to try to do this. All right. Block charge. Defense cannot move forward. So the defense moves forward, block. Head and shoulder past the defender, block. if the offense hits the torso, stomach, chest, face, charge. They have legal guarding position. Offense initiates the contact in the torso. I have a charge. Legal guarding position. Offense initiates head and shoulder pass. They hit me in the hip. They hit me in the shoulder. Block. All right, so it's either they get hit in the torso or they don't. All right, so I'm really only looking for one foul out of all this. I am officiating the defense and seeing if they move forward and where do they get hit if they don't move forward. All right, so we hear this all the time. You got to be set to take a charge. How many people have heard that before? That is the worst coaching ever. Okay? Because we want to move laterally to take a charge. We want to go vertical to have them hit us in the middle of the torso. All right? We want to beat them to a spot going obliquely. All right? So when coaches say that, you got to be set to take a charge. I go up to that coach and say, Coach, could I give you a rule? And now I have that open dialogue with the coach. Now I have the trust of the coach. All right? Just by explaining block charge. All right, so again, you're going to have block charge calls. You're going to get some right. You're going to get some wrong. The only thing you have to tell coach, they got hit in the torso. That's why it was a charge. They didn't get hit in the torso. That's why it was a block. Easy, basic, new officiating right there. Block charge. All right, so next one, hands and arms, a legal and illegal use of. Hands above the shoulders, legal. So what is shoulders, right? The inside part of your hand, the outside part of your shoulder. That is your vertical plane. And when we talk about that as screening with your feet. So their thumbs have to be even at the outside part of their shoulder. So if they're like this, are they vertical? If they're like this, are they vertical? All right, so that's what you're looking for, legal. Above the shoulders, completely legal. All right, legal to have your hands above the shoulders. A defender can reach to block and slap the ball and accidentally hit the hand as long as the hand is part of the ball. So I've asked Coach, what did you see? John, they hit their hand and the ball came loose. Okay, that's what I saw too. That's legal. Okay, if they hit the hand accidentally and the hand is on the basketball, that's legal. Now they can't rear back and slap, all right, but they could reach and slap at the basketball. It is legal to reach. It is legal to reach. What's illegal is their shoulder goes into the dribbler's chest. The hand hits the forearm. I call that the Gary Payton, for those of you who remember Gary Payton, right? That's how he interrupted the dribble. He hit the forearm, not the hand, right? So it's illegal to do that, but it is legal to reach. Please do not call a reaching foul. It's legal. Hold hands and arms in front of the body to absorb force. And we're not even talking about here. I'm talking about here. They're allowed to protect their body from getting hit by the opponent. What they can't do this. They can't extend out, right? They can have their hands and arms out in front to protect. So now what are we going to call illegal use of hands? So this is a signal, illegal use of hands, all right? When a player pushes or moves through a screen or screener. So sometimes they do this. Sometimes they wrap around. Right? They can't do that. They can't use their hands to displace a screener. Inhibit the freedom of movement of an opponent. They can't grab an arm. Right? They can't hit an elbow. They can't block a shot and hit the forearm. Those are illegal use of hands. Extend arms fully or partially to hinder an opponent. Legal, illegal, legal, illegal. All right. They can't get outside of their body frame. They cannot prevent the opponent from attacking the goal. 2 hands, 1 hand on the hip, right? Officiate the defense. What is the defense doing with their hands? And then swing arms and elbows excessively. If I swing excessively and don't make contact, veteran officials, what do we have to call as fast as possible? Violation. Boo boo. That's elbow violation. We cannot do that. That is a swing and miss violation. That's like warning. If they swing and hit the opponent in the chest, now what do we got? We got a foul. Elbow. They cannot make contact with the opponent. And the god-awful one, they swing and nail the opponent in the head. Flagrant ejection. Okay, so yes. All right, let me finish the elbow. What we tell coaches, this is legal as so long as you don't pivot. It's legal so long as you don't pivot. Get the elbows down, now you could pivot. So that's what I will tell coaches. If I see players go like this, that means they're typically being coached chin it, chin it, chin it. I'm going to go to that coach and I'm going to try to prevent a really bad foul from happening. Hey, coach, when they are chinning it, just make sure you remind them they can't pivot. If they want to pivot, elbows down. Get the elbows down. Yep, so this is still illegal. Yep, it's just like a travel illegal dribble. The other team gets the ball. Now, if they're doing this, there's contact. Now we have foul. And then if they're doing that and it's head and neck, ejection. Scott. Legal. Vertical plane. This is vertical plane. Legal. Okay, vertical plane. I have the right to this space above my shoulders. I have that space. Question, David.
So on the first one, how is the proper way of?
On the first one, above, hands above shoulders. Oh, so I'm going to call it push, is what I'm going to call as an official, but it's underneath the definition of illegal use of hands. So pushing is the foul. The explanation is illegal use of hands. So if I'm pushing through a screen, I'm on defense. Yep. Julie, you had a question? They could travel 50 times in a game. Yeah. Now I will again, when they do this and I call a violation, the coach is going to ask a question. Get them off my rebounder. Coach, I will. If they move forward into you, it's going to be a foul on them. You swinging your elbows is you going forward into the opponent, and I'm actually trying to help you prevent a foul. So please don't swing. Again, I try to recommend, not tell coaches, recommend coaches, elbows down. Then we don't have to worry about elbows. Elbows down. Yeah. So the question is simply bringing the hand or hands down a foul? No. They still need to contact the opponent. So if they come down and they affect the shot, so now the shooter just goes up and under, it's not a foul because, yes, a potential foul, but no contact, no foul. Okay? No contact, no foul. And one. Henry Moore. All right, and one, continuous motion. All right, so this was an editorial change this year. I love it. This is actually what we've been saying for a long, long time. Habitual throwing movement. All right, so I am a shooter. You tell me when my habitual movement to shoot started. Has it started? Yeah, it started. It started when I was going down. Like, this is my habitual movement to start a shot. If I am going up for a layup, my habitual movement has started to go up for a shot. My dribble has ended. All right, so when we are asked continuous motion, when are they in the act of shooting? Coach, I had them in the habitual movement of their shot. If you say habitual movement to their shot, what do you think the coach is going to say? The hell is that? All right. Then you can say, well, the dribble ended. When the dribble ended, he showed everybody or she showed everybody in the gym, they wanted to do a layup. The dribble stopped, contact happened, continuous motion. We allow the step, we allow the pivot. They are in the act of shooting. When in doubt, they're in the act of shooting. This isn't the NBA. Actually, it is. It's the exact same word in the NBA, habitual movement to start a shot. Yes, it is. It is the NBA. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say one more thing on continuous motion, and it'll come back to me. Airborne shooter. So I had a video sent to me the other day. All right. An airborne shooter is somebody who has left. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Continuous motion. Do not say on the floor, on the floor. Where does every shot start? On the floor. Okay. Prior to the shot, before the shot, during the dribble, every shot starts on the floor. Okay. Airborne shooter. Once a person goes up in the air as a shooter, they're a quarterback. They're protected. They are defenseless. You can't touch them. You cannot touch them. You know that whole like belly button poke? All right. If they fall to the ground on that belly button poke, that's not flopping. All right. I'm calling a foul. All right. I am calling a foul. All right. They slide underneath their legs to try to scare them in their brain that they're going to get their legs taken out, and their jersey swipes their leg just a little touch. I'm calling a foul. They are a defenseless player. You have to protect the shooter. And they are an airborne shooter until they are coming down to the ground and they can now defend themselves. All right, so if they come down and they're kind of off balance, I'm still considering them an airborne shooter. All right, protect your shooters. Airborne shooter. Now, where airborne shooters don't get protection, I shot fake. I jump forward. That is not an airborne shooter that we're protecting. All right. They are protected the spot they jump from to the spot where they jump. That's it. So it happens quite a bit in youth basketball. They have to jump forward to get it to the rim. And that defender is legal, vertical right here, or vertically straight up, and that shooter jumps forward and lands on that legal defender.
Attention in the building, beginning here in the next couple of minutes, we're going to begin testing some fire alarms here for the next hour, actually hour or two. So there's no need to leave the building to do that. That's only a test. We begin testing fire alarms here in the next 2-3 minutes. Thank you.
Sweet. All right. All right. And by the way, this is good because we do the same thing in basketball. Fire alarm goes off, we keep playing basketball. Here we go. All right. So the airborne shooter that jumps forward, lands onto a legal defender, breaks their ankle. How's that not a foul? Well, I could only protect the shooter from the spot they jumped from. Okay, so you got to remember that as well. Don't let them get a cheap foul, shot fake, and then jump into the legal defender. They're not protected there. Yes. So if they both move forward into each other, it is the foul on the defense. Because you go back to legal guarding, what can the defense never do? Defense can never go forward and initiate the contact. And I'm glad you said that, because layup, how are they jumping? Forward. All right. So they can jump forward. They're just not protected the same as if they were jumping straight up. Okay? It's a different protection. Screen. I will say this, and we say this especially early in the season. Get your first illegal screen as fast as you can. As fast as you can, get your first illegal screen. Because once the coaches know you're calling illegal screens, guess what they're going to do? They're going to stop illegal screening. Okay. Get your first illegal screen. So what is an illegal screen? All right. So now I don't have basketball. Illegal. Illegal. Move forward illegal. And that's usually on the ball handler. The ball handler doesn't let that screener get set and they dribble into them. The screener has to have stationary, not moving, inside the shoulder frame. So the inside part of their feet now on the outside part of their shoulder. That is the shoulder frame. That is verticality. Outside of the shoulders, inside the feet. Get your first illegal screen. Now the mechanics, since it's the offense, team control, boom, illegal screen. It's so hard for me to still switch that. All right, boom, illegal screen. All right, team control foul. It's a team control foul on the illegal screen. What can the screener do? Okay, you can screen with the ball. So I have the ball, as long as I'm stationary, I could have people, my teammates, rub off of me. I don't have to be facing the person I'm screening. All right? Sometimes people say they have to face the person they're screening. No, they don't. Because you're a screener with or without the ball. You just have to be stationary. That's it. The last thing on, the screener. I'm dribbling. I am still screening when there's a player behind me. This is the one time you can be moving as a screener. All right, I'm using my body because there's a player behind me. If I stop and that person now runs me over from behind, who's the foul on? On the defense. And coach said, I'm like, they stopped and caused that accident. It's like driving a car, right? Don't follow them so close. Get to the side of them. Okay, that is what the rule is. They should be getting to the side of that ball handler so they don't crash into them behind, because you don't know when they're going to put on the brakes. It is legal for them to put on the brakes. They get ran over, it's a foul on the defense. Okay? Get your first illegal screen. My favorite rule in basketball. Any soccer referees out there? Okay, soccer referees, this is what they do in soccer. Play on. Okay. Incidental contact. Love this rule on non-rough plays. You can't use this on roughness plays. All right, so what is incidental contact? Contact with an opponent that is permitted. Contact which results in both players able to perform normal offensive and defensive movements. So here we go. We have you watch an NBA and you have this slam dunk. And after the slam dunk, the defense just hammers the shoulder, hammers the torso. Shooter comes down clean and everybody is on 2 feet. And you say, how is that not a foul? Because we saw contact. But after the contact, they slam dunked the ball and they both landed on their feet. They are now able to play offense and defense. Okay. The and one, right? I go up for a shot. Bam. You hear that sound. You hear that slap. Goes off the backboard. Ball goes in. Both players come down clean. No foul. There is no foul. Because then now the coach says, you heard the slap, Sean. It's legal to reach and slap at the basketball. Is it not? Did it impede the shot? No, shot went in. Did it impede them from coming down to play defense? No, shot went in. How's that not a foul? Incidental contact. Play on. All right. Equally favorable position. There's going to be tons of contact. Tons. If it does not affect rhythm, quickness, balance, speed, it's nothing. All right, we're going to hit that really hard tomorrow in varsity basketball. All right. So when we talk about just contact, we're not talking about rough play. We're not talking about pushing. We're not talking about collisions. We are talking about contact. When in doubt, if both players are able to play basketball, it's incidental. Okay. So a lot of times this happens. Loose ball. Both players go for the loose ball. They knock heads. As long as both players were going for the basketball, you can't call a foul on basketball. That's what they were playing the basketball, not their opponent. It's severe. Somebody got injured, but it's not illegal. Okay, go for it, Riley. Yeah, you can't fall on them. Correct. Mm-hmm. Yep. So what I'm going to consider an and one is I go up for a layup, they hit me somehow, some way, offense goes down. Because now once I go down because my opponent took me down, what am I not able to do? I can't sprint back and play defense. Okay, I can't perform a normal basketball movement. If I get hit in the arm and it goes around the rim one time and then it comes out, boop, now I have a foul. And the coach is going to say, man, that was a late whistle. Yes, it was, coach. I agree with you. Because they're not arguing my judgment. The contact showed me that's what caused the shot to miss. I absolutely love that question. So the question is, do I officiate third grade basketball game the same as men's college basketball? And the answer is absolutely yes. I officiate the defense. I see the contact. I enforce the result of the contact. All right. Now, third grade kids, are they going to be affected a lot more than college men's on contact? Yeah, so I'm probably going to call more fouls in third grade because their bodies can't take the contact. But defense, contact, how did it affect the opponent? Ignore it.
However, if it was like you could tell like it was a fast break and you can tell that they were trying to foul them to stop the shot and it doesn't like it hits them, they still make it and they still win on you could tell like they were
Play on. Play on. Yep. Verticality. Yes, sir. Scott. And that's exactly what these definitions are. Teach, teach, teach. Teach the terminology, teach what the real rules are. They said 2 to 3 minutes, right? Go for it. Who caused the defensive player to fall? Where did the offensive player hit that defensive player? Boom, I got a charge. So I have an opponent contact a legal guarding defender. After that contact, now the defender's on the ground. What can the defender not do now? They can't play defense. They can't rebound. They can't inbound the ball. Now I have a charge. Okay. Ooh, great question. Does the basket count? No, it does not. Okay. No, it does not. All right, verticality. I think you'll know a well-coached team just based on verticality. That's how you know a team is well-coached. Again, one arm down, not verticality. If two arms come down, anyone know why two arms come down at one time? They get hit in the belly. You get hit in the belly, those two arms are coming down. This is not loss of verticality. Who caused the two arms coming down? Offense. So now you have a judgment to make. Do we have a charge or do we have incidental contact? All right. So if that belly gets hit, two arms come down, it does affect the shot. Whose responsibility or fault was it? The offense. The defense is not put at a disadvantage. Play on. All right. I wish they would give us the ability to use the signal verticality in high school, but they don't. You have to vocalize. Player was vertical. Player was vertical. Player was vertical. Okay. The other thing is, this happens all the time. I'm vertical. Yeah, you're vertical, but what did you do with your belly? Belly went forward. All right. So yes, their arms are up, but they can't belly up. That is a foul moving forward into an opponent. Kicking. Ooh, Lutika, sorry. My bad. Everyone see what I did with my foot? I intentionally kicked the ball. My foot came off the ground and I kicked it. Is that kicking? No. They dribbled off of the opponent's foot. Or it's a pass off the knee. Boom. If they pass it off the leg, it's not kicking. So what we're really looking for is the lift of the leg. Lift of the leg is intentional act. We get yelled at all the time. That's kicking. So if they intentionally move it, we're going to call that intentional movement. They usually lift it up. Okay. Pivot. Officials. How to get travels correct is you have to get the pivot foot. You have a 50-50 chance of getting it right. Left foot or right foot. Okay. But what is the pivot? The pivot is the player steps once or more than once in any direction with one foot while the other foot is kept in the point of contact. All right, so I always say, how many steps does the player get with the ball? As many as they want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As so long as my pivot, the one that's not moving, keeps in contact with the floor, it's nothing. And like if you really look at my pivot, my heel is moving. All right, it's usually the ball of the foot is what they're looking at. All right, so you got to get the pivot foot. Which foot is the one they can move with? Okay, unlimited amount. And now once you get the pivot foot, now you can make this call. This is a very, very difficult call. New officials, when in doubt, it is not traveling. Number one, when in doubt, it's not traveling. Number two, if you don't know how to explain it, you can't call it. Okay, so there's a lot of things players could do. If you can't explain it, don't call it. So what can they do? I catch a pass. Which foot's my pivot foot? Either one. I caught the ball in the air. I came down simultaneously. Either one could be the pivot foot. Now, which one's my pivot foot? Right foot. All right. Like when I start working early in the season, I start tapping my leg. As me telling myself, right foot, pivot foot, left foot, pivot foot. So then when a coach is watching film and I say, Coach, I have the right foot, pivot foot, he sees me tap my right leg. Wow, he's getting the pivot foot every single time. I don't have to worry about travel with that coach the rest of my career. Now, I only do that early in the season as I'm getting reps. All right, so that's the first foot down. Now, I catch it on one foot. I jump off of one foot and land on two. Now, what's my pivot foot? Zero pivot foot. All right, so I catch it, one, I jump and land. That's not a travel. They just don't have a pivot foot. All right, they have to jump and shoot, jump and pass, but they cannot now move that foot to start a dribble. Yep. Yep. So a lot of times what that will happen is they dribble ended here, and they take a big jump, completely legal. Now they just can't pivot, okay? The other one that happens quite a bit is boom, left foot's pivot foot, okay? And they do this. I call that the track start. All right, so they get it, 1, 2, boom. They can't track start. You cannot lift your pivot foot before you release the ball for the dribble. You got to keep that pivot foot down. Once you release the ball, now you could pick it up. Shot. What's that called? So I'm going to go for a shot. Oh, nope. Travel, because I lifted my pivot foot before the release of the ball. Okay? So that is a travel. Falling on the ground. I fall, I gain possession of it, then I actually contact the ground. That is travel. All right. So yes, they are in the act of falling. Then they grab the basketball and they touch the ground. Travel. All right. That is a travel. Once I'm on the ground, I'm loose. I could do this. I could do sit-ups. As long as my buttock stays on the ground, I'm good. That's not a travel. If I roll with the basketball, my buttocks is off the ground, now you have a travel. All right, they cannot roll, they cannot attempt to get up, but they can sit up. Their butt is remaining on the ground. The last thing we talk about is go ahead, Riley. Correct. All right, so I said buttocks that time. So if I slide, my momentum is going. I could slide 94 feet. Momentum is not a travel. When we say momentum is not a travel, have you ever seen somebody stop, slippery floor, and they slide their feet like 3 inches, 4 inches? That slide, that momentum is not a travel. Now, once they stop, that's their point of contact. So they could slide, they could stay laying on their stomach, but they can't roll over off their stomach. Eric, go for it. Perfect. Travel. All right, so knee is now the pivot foot. If I lift my pivot foot before starting my dribble, travel. All right. If I start my dribble here, now I can stand up with my dribble. All right. Say that what? Can you roll while you're sliding? I will leave it up to your judgment. I'm going to say yes, because the momentum is still going and I don't have a point of contact yet because of the momentum. Yep. So I could lift my pivot. I just can't bring it back down. Yep. So here I am. I'm pivoting. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Completely legal. On a shot. You could lift your pivot on a shot. You could lift your pivot on a pass. You cannot lift your pivot until you start your dribble. Release of the dribble. All right. So yes, Zach. So now we're falling, travel. Yep, since they fell with the basketball. All right. Control. You have player control, team control. And we go over this because of timeouts and free throws. All right. For a team to call a timeout, they have to have player control. Now, how many times officials do we see or hear a coach yell timeout when I have control of it? Then I pass it to Zach and I blow my whistle when the ball's in the air. All right. When did the coach call the timeout? When the player had control. All right, so if a player has true control and they're passing it to a teammate and it's a clean pass to the teammate, I tell the opposing coach, hey coach, I heard the request. When in player control, yes, I know I blew my whistle while the ball was in the air, but the request happened when the player had control. Okay, they need player control for timeout. Free throw, team control, interrupted dribble. All right, defense hits the ball out, a deflected pass, a ball is passed in the air. If there's a foul on the defense while the player's not in control, but the team's in control, you're going to award bonus. It is in team control. If the ball is loose, I am on offense. I push my opponent away so I could get to the loose ball. And my opponent is in bonus. They don't get free throws because it's team control foul. If the team that has control of the ball fouls, the opponent will not get free throws. That's the importance for control. Timeouts, player control. Free throws, the team in control, even during the loose ball. If they foul, the opponent will not get bonus free throws. They have team control during a loose ball. Until their opponent gains control, it's still that original team's control. Yep, you would take it out at the nearest designated spot, which we're gonna end here shortly. All right, we're gonna die on this hill. There is only one time there's a jump ball, or two times, but every game has a jump ball. All right, but what does this signal mean? Held ball. Okay, so jump ball is to start the game. A jump ball is to start overtime. All right, a held ball, opponents have firm control of the ball. Young officials, the lower the age group, that's firm control. All right, so who knows if the green has any control over that basketball whatsoever? I don't know, but that's firm control. Because we call held ball quick at the lower grade levels, because what are we trying to prevent? We're trying to prevent injury. We're trying to prevent roughness. We're trying to prevent the elbow swinging. All right. It's not fun, but when in doubt, lower grade levels, held ball. All right. Held ball to prevent roughness. The other one that happens all the time. I go up for a shot. My opponent just places their hand on the ball, just a touch. Doesn't keep it there, just a touch. I now come down with the basketball. Everyone's yelling in the gym for what? Travel. But the rule is held ball. Held ball, alternating possession arrow. All right, it's just got to have the hand touch the basketball, stops the shot. They come down with the basketball, held ball. Okay, so that is the held ball rule. Again, these two girls on the ground, I am calling held ball as fast as I possibly can. Right, prevent a travel, prevent an elbow, and I don't want that player in orange to land on her head. Calling it held ball. So now the question is, all right, we call a foul, we call a violation. Where the heck do we put it in play? All right, new this year, resumption of play. We have 8 spots. Majority of the time. There's one extra, one division line. But if the foul or violation happens inside the three-point arc, everyone could see that line inside the three-point arc. If whoever fouls, whoever violates, their foot is on the three-point line, inside the three-point line, we are going to the end line and or baseline, right? Underneath the basket. If the foul or violation happens outside that three-point arc, you go to the nearest 28-foot line. Right? It's consistent. It's super easy now. You don't even have to take a look at the old diagram. Right? Everyone can now see the line. We said this in the captain's meeting. When in doubt, put it underneath the basket. That's where all coaches want it anyways. They want it underneath the basket. So if you have that, ooh, God, where should I put it? Underneath the basket. If you always do that as an official, you always do that as a crew, both teams are going to be happy. That's where they want the basketball. So have it be clearly outside the 3-point arc for those 24 or 28-foot marks. Division line, it happens after a technical foul, and the division line will be the start of second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. So that is the 9th inbound spot. But again, only 8 inbound spots on violations fouls. Exception is boundary line, out of bounds. If it's out of bounds, wherever the ball went out of bounds, that's where the ball will be placed. All right, so we talked about block charge being the easiest call to make. Out of bounds is the hardest call to make. It happens fast. It usually happens sometimes not in your area. And guess what? We're not officiating the ball. Who are we officiating? The players. All right, so there's a lot of times we don't know who was the last one to touch it. Was the foot on the line? Was it not on the line? The best advice, new officials, have the players help you. Not tell you, help you. I literally had it today. Boop, red. And I just kept my hand up in the air. I just yelled red. That's all I did. Red. And then gray came out and ran their offensive inbounds play. Red played defense. They told me who was out of bounds on. I had no idea who was out of bounds on. Right? So, but if they step on a boundary line, all right, with possession of the ball, out of bounds, if the ball hits the boundary line, it's out of bounds. There's actually tons of boundary lines, which will go into 2-person, 3-person. 3-point arc is a boundary line. What's that boundary line determine? 2 points or 3 points. Free throw line is a boundary line. What's the importance of that free throw line? Can't cross it. Defense can't cross it until it hits the rim. Shooter can't cross it until it hits the rim. Lane space lines, that's an important boundary line. It can't enter the lane until the ball is released. So a lot of boundary lines that you have to be aware of. The main thing to remember is foot on the line, they have crossed the boundary line. So if it's a backcourt violation, that line is out of bounds for the offense. All right, so there's actually 4 out of bounds lines for the offense when it comes to the backcourt division line. All right, it is 7:56. I pretty much nailed it. New officials, these are the main things we get yelled at. Travel, verticality, block, charge, out of bounds, kicking, not calling held ball fast enough, not preventing rough play. Right? It's not your judgment that is important. It's your explanation of your judgment that will get the trust of coaches, players, and spectators. How many people watched the movie one time and memorized everything in that movie and saw everything in that movie the first time they watched it? All right, so this is recorded. This is now going to be able to be reviewed. New officials, I would probably rewatch this before your observation on court. All right, middle of the season, you're bored. Just put it on and listen. Because I tell you what, myself and Gwen, when we put this together, I'm like, I don't remember that word. I forgot about that definition. You keep learning as you review it, okay? Tomorrow, 3-person practice. All right, if you are aspiring to work varsity, yes, please come. If you have no intention to work varsity, right, it's all going to be 3-person, so you don't have to come. 2-person, everybody in this room is going to work 2-person this year. Please come Thursday, all right? Because we're going to talk about what is a foul, what is a violation with film, who should be watching where to get the foul, get the violation, and then how the heck do we communicate afterwards? All right, so that's like today was just drills of how to make a layup, how to shoot a free throw. Now we're going to get into 5-on-5 stuff on Tuesday with 2-person, okay? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, 2-person Thursday. Wednesday is 3-person. Thank you for coming out tonight. As we start working basketball, remember,